In this video, we're going to talk about composite functions. And let's start with a quick definition. It starts with given two functions, f and g, the composite function is f of g of x, which can also be written as f of g of x. Okay, so think about this in terms of what you know about functions. I know way back when you probably saw what's called the function machine. So if you have the function machine, and this is called your function f, you put into the function machine a value x. And then what you get out of it is your f of x. Alright, so you put in a value x, you do whatever the function describes that you do, whatever the functional relationship is, say you multiply by 2 or add 3 or whatever, and then your output is the f of x, the function as it relates to x. So this is a similar situation where we're going to take x and we're going to put it into a function, but we're not going to put it into f. We're actually going to put it into the function g. Alright, which is the inside function here. We're then going to get as an output g of x, and we're going to put that output into the function f. And so as an output here, we will get the function f of g of x. Okay, just to give you a quick example, let's just say that g is 2x, and let's just say f is x plus 5. And let's say that my x is 1. So then you're going to put the 1 in, and so you're going to take 2 times 1, which will then produce a 2 for g of x. You're then going to take the 2 now, and you're going to put the 2 plus the 5, take the 2 plus the 5, and get a 7, and that'll be your f of g of x. So for each of these problems, we're going to use two functions, f of x is equal to 2x and g of x is equal to 3x squared plus 1. And we're going to evaluate them all at these various values of x. So we start with number 1, and notice how we have the x value at 4, and notice how we have g of x inside. So what that means is we're going to find g of 4 first. So g of 4 will be 3 times 4 squared plus 1. Well, 3 times 16 plus 1 is equal to 48 plus 1, which is equal to 49. We then take f, and we are going to evaluate f of g of 4. Well, see, we now know g of 4 is 49, so we know that this is really meaning f of 49, so then that will be 2 times 49, which is going to be 98. Okay. Let's take number 2, and we now have a different x value of 2, and notice how we have a different inside function, that is f. So f of 2 is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4. So now we know f of 2 is equal to 4. Well, g of f of 2 is equal to, well, we know now that f of 2 is 4, so it's really g of 4, so then that is going to be 3 times 4 squared plus 1, which we already evaluated, by the way, in the last problem at the first part, so that's going to be 3 times 16 plus 1, which is going to be 49. So g of f of 2 is actually equal to 49. Number 3, we have an input value of 1, and notice how the inside function is f and the outside function is also f. So what you're going to do is take f of 1 is equal to 2 times 1, which is 2. And then for f of 1, well, we know that f of 1 is 2, so we're going to replace the f of 1 with 2 to get f of 2 now. And so f of 2 is 2 times 2, which is 4. So f of 1 is 4. And the last one, we have a value of 0. We have now the inside and outside function being g. So we're going to start with g of 0 is equal to 3 times 0 squared plus 1, which produces just 1. So now we know g of 0 is 1. Well, we want to find g of 0, which is, again, we know g of 0 happens to be 1. So this is really the same as g of 1. So we replace again that value g of 0 with 1. And so we're evaluating the function g at 1. So this will be 3 times 1 squared plus 1, which is just 3 times 1 plus 1, which is 3 plus 1, which is 4. So g of 0 is equal to 4. For these problems, we're going to find f of g of x and f of x for both of these. Now notice here we do not have a value for x. It's a very similar process. However, I'm going to start by looking at the outside function f. So let's start with f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. Now notice here we are evaluating not at x but at g of x. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out the x. Everywhere I see x, I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to put parentheses where I did have x. So notice here I put a parentheses there. And I'm going to put g of x. But I know what expression g of x equals. It's equal to 3x. So I'm going to put 3x in for g of x. So notice how I've taken out the x and I've substituted in place of x whatever g of x is equal to. In this case, 3 of x. And then by doing that, I can simplify by multiplying. So this will be 6x plus 3. So f of g of x is equal to 6x plus 3. And again, we can see that because 3x is equal to g of x. All right, let's do the same thing with f of x. So again, I start off with f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. I then am going to take out the x, and in its place I'm going to put what f of x is equal to. Well, f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. So I'm going to replace the x with 2x plus 3. And in doing that, I'm then going to simplify. So it'll be 4x plus 6 plus 3, which is 4x plus 9. So that is f of x. Number 6 is the exact same type of problem, just different functions defined for f of x and g of x, but it's the same process. I'm going to start with f, and I'm going to start with f of x is equal to square root of x. I'm going to take out the x. Okay, I don't really need parentheses because I already have my grouping symbol, which is the square root. In place of x, I'm going to put g of x, which is 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3. And notice how we cannot simplify this. There's nothing I can do to simplify that expression. So we can say that f of g of x with these two new functions is the square root of 2x plus 3. All right, we're going to again evaluate f of x. So it'll be f of x is equal to square root of x. Again, I'm looking at the outside function here, and I take out my x, and I put in place of it what I'm going to put in for x. So I'm going to put another f of x in. So it'll be square root of x. So this will be f of square root of x is equal to the square root of x. Well, that's the same as the fourth root of x. Think of these two indexes as being 2, and you can multiply them, or you can also think of this as x to the 1/2 to the 1/2, which you would then multiply these 1/2s to get x to the 1/4, which is the same as the fourth root of x. Okay, so this f of x is equal to the fourth root of x. All right, good luck on all the problems.